Today I'm going to show you how to make this jelly cake. I have a chocolate cake here that I already sliced into 4 layers, then stacked them up together. Now I'm going to cut out a corner that I will fill it with jelly later. Now I'm going to assemble it. If you are using only buttercream for the filling and to frost the cake, this process will be easier. Mine is a bit complicated because all my clients prefer cakes that are not too sweet. So all my cakes are always filled with whipped cream frosting and frosted with Swiss meringue buttercream. This one right here also has a layer of dark chocolate ganache. If you're only using buttercream for the entire cake, this process will be much easier because you don't need to make a ring like I did, then apply the filling. Now crumb coat the cake. I'm adding some small pieces of cake to the top to create an uneven landscape. Place it in the fridge to set for about 30 minutes until it's firm to the touch. Next, cover the cake with chocolate ganache. You have to use chocolate ganache for the outer layer instead of buttercream because even if the buttercream is hardened, when you pour the warm jelly into it, it's still going to wash off some buttercream and make the water cloudy. Chocolate ganache is not going to have that problem. Put this in the fridge to set. This time it has to stay in the fridge longer, at least an hour or longer if you have the time. We want the chocolate ganache to harden completely. Now that the chocolate ganache is set, I'm going to add some melted white chocolate on it just to make the background more interesting. Now wrap the cake with a piece of acetate sheet. Make sure it's touching the cake. tape the end with sticky tape. Secure the bottom with some chocolate ganache. This part is important so the jelly won't leak out once you pour it in. You can also use sticky tape to tape it all around. Personally, I think chocolate ganache is a better option because once it's hardened, it will secure the edge and also very easy to peel this off when done. Rub your finger on this to make sure the edge is fully covered by the ganache. Now put this back to the fridge for at least an hour to set completely. While waiting for the cake to set, we can start making the jelly. I use agar-agar powder to make my jelly. You can get this easily at an Asian grocery store or buy it online. The ratio is 1 teaspoon of agar-agar powder to 1 1/3 cups of liquid. Mix a teaspoon of agar-agar powder with 1 1/3 cups of cold water. Give it a quick whisk to dissolve the powder. Then heat it over medium heat and gently bring it to the boil. Stir it occasionally. When it starts to warm up, stir it more frequently. Add a tablespoon of sugar for some taste because the agar-agar is tasteless. As soon as it comes to a boil, remove it from heat. Pour it into a cup so it can cool off more quickly. Use a toothpick to add some color to it. You only need very little color. Let it set for about 20 minutes in room temperature, just so that it will cool off slightly, not like boiling hot. When you let this sit there, stir it occasionally so it won't set just yet. Once the jelly is just warm to the touch, we can then take the cake out from the fridge and pour the jelly in. Start with pouring just a little bit of jelly to fill the bottom, then put this back to the fridge immediately for about 5 minutes to set. Now that the bottom is set, I'm going to place the fish. I have a block of fish here that I made yesterday. In the previous part 3 or 4 video, I show you how to make fish and rocks. As you can see, some of the food color I used to color the fish actually bled into the blue water. This is because they have been sitting in the fridge for a day. I actually like this effect because it looks more realistic as how you will see them in a pond. Trim the block until it fits nicely in the spot. I want the fish to be closer to the edge of the cake so I can see them better when done, so I'm placing pieces of agar-agar that I cut off from the fish block behind the fish. This way they will push the fish block closer to the edge. This is why I made this ahead of time, so I can handle them as a block to position them how I want. This cake is a little small, so I'm not going to add rocks or other garnish. If you're making a cake that has more water space, you can use the same method to position everything you want when place them in the jelly. Now pour the remaining jelly into the cake. The warm jelly will bind all these pieces together. Put this back in the fridge immediately to set. Now I'm going to prepare other garnish. I have some light color cookie crumbs here that I blended with a little bit of green food color, and also some darker color cookie crumbs. Now that the jelly is set, we can remove the acetylene sheet. I'm using chocolate buttercream to decorate it. Now adding on other decorations. I'll provide a link on how to make this wafer paper lace decoration in the description below. And this is now completed.